Before discipline entered his life, Samir believed motivation was everything. He waited for the right mood, the right day, the right surge of energy that would suddenly make hard things easy. Some days it came, most days it didn't. When it did, he felt unstoppable, starting plans, making promises, imagining a future where everything worked out. When it didn't, he scrolled endlessly, slept late, and told himself tomorrow would be different. Tomorrow rarely was. Samir wasn't lazy. That was the lie that hurt most. He cared deeply. He dreamed intensely. But his effort was inconsistent, scattered, emotional. When results didn't come quickly, frustration followed. When frustration grew, he quit quietly. Not in dramatic ways, just by stopping, by delaying, by convincing himself that it wasn't the right time. Years passed like this. Small failures piled up, not enough to destroy him, but enough to exhaust him. He watched others move forward, some more talented, some less, but all more consistent. Their secret wasn't brilliance, it was reliability. They showed up even when they didn't feel like it. Samir told himself he just needed one big break, one opportunity to prove himself, one moment where everything aligned. Then one night, something simple happened. He overheard a conversation between two older men at a tea stall. One complained about his job, his health, his life. The other listened quietly and finally said, "You didn't ruin your life in one day. You built it the way it is, one habit at a time." That sentence stayed with Samir longer than it should have. He replayed it while lying in bed, while brushing his teeth, while staring at the ceiling long after sleep should have come. One habit at a time, not one failure, not one bad decision, just repeated choices. The next morning, Samir didn't wake up inspired. He didn't feel powerful or confident. He felt the same, tired, doubtful, unsure. But he did something different. He made his bed. It felt almost ridiculous. How could this matter when his life felt so far off track? But he did it anyway. Slowly, carefully. Then he drank a glass of water. Then he sat for 5 minutes without his phone. That was it. No grand plan, no dramatic declaration. Just 3 small actions completed intentionally. The next day, he did them again. By the 4th day, resistance appeared. His mind mocked him. "This is pointless. This won't change anything. You're wasting time." The old Samir would have listened. But this time, he remembered the sentence from the tea stall. One habit at a time. So he continued. Weeks passed. The habits stayed small but consistent. Wake up at the same time. Make the bed. Move his body for 10 minutes. Read a few pages. Work for 1 focused hour without distractions. Stop when the hour ended, even if he wanted to continue. Especially if he wanted to continue. Discipline, he learned, wasn't about punishment. It was about boundaries. Some days felt good, most felt ordinary, a few felt awful. Discipline didn't remove discomfort. It taught him to function despite it. He stopped asking himself how he felt before acting. He acted and let his feelings catch up later. Slowly, something shifted, not externally at first, but internally. He trusted himself more. Promises made were promises kept, even small ones. That trust grew quietly, like a muscle strengthening under the skin. Opportunities didn't suddenly rain down, but when chances appeared, Samir was ready. He had energy, he had focus, he had proof, daily proof, that he could follow through. One setback hit hard. A project he worked on for months failed publicly. Old thoughts rushed back. "See, nothing changes. You're fooling yourself." For a moment, he believed them. He skipped a day, then another. On the 3rd day, he stood in front of his unmade bed and felt something unfamiliar. Not guilt, but clarity. He realized discipline hadn't failed him. He had simply paused it. And unlike motivation, discipline was always available. No mood required. He made the bed. That small act broke the spiral. He returned to his routine, not perfectly, but honestly. He learned that discipline doesn't mean never falling off. It means knowing how to get back on without drama. Months turned into a year. People noticed. They commented on his calm, his reliability, his progress. Samir smiled politely but said little. How could he explain that his life changed not because of a miracle, but because he stopped negotiating with himself every morning? Discipline simplified his mind. Decisions became fewer. Excuses became louder, but less convincing. He learned that freedom didn't come from doing whatever he wanted. It came from doing what mattered, even when he didn't want to. One evening, walking home after a long day, Samir passed the same tea stall. The two men were gone. New voices filled the air. He ordered tea and stood quietly, watching the steam rise into the night. He thought about the person he used to be, waiting, wishing, starting over endlessly. He didn't judge that version of himself anymore. He understood him. He just didn't live like him. Discipline hadn't made Samir perfect. It made him dependable, and that changed everything. Because talent opens doors, but discipline keeps them open. Motivation starts journeys, but discipline finishes them. And confidence isn't built by success. It's built by keeping promises to yourself when no one is watching. Samir finished his tea and walked on. Tomorrow, he would wake up at the same time. And that was enough.